Hi, welcome to today's video. In this tutorial, we are going to learn how to conduct a chi-square test in Python. So what is a chi-square test? Chi-square test is a statistic analysis to explore the relationship or association between two categorical variables. So let me give you an example. I have a sample of students, and these students could choose the lunch plan, and the data also record their math score. So I want to use chi-square test to explore, are those two variables associated? First, we want to make sure that the lunch plan and the math score are all categorical variables, and then we will conduct a chi-square test. So let's go to the Python Google Colab. So I'm going to first import some libraries, the NumPy, Pandas, and the chi-square test library. So this is from the Spicy Statistics, and we're going to use the chi-square contingency table. So let's first import a data set. So I think that if we involve a certain data set, we are better to learn the relationship between them. And how do we conduct the chi-square test? So I'm going to use this student.csv. So let's first read this data set. So I'm going to call it df data frame that equal to pd.read.csv. And we're going to use student.csv. And let's take a look at our data set. So our data set looks like this. We have a bunch of columns. We have the gender, ethnicity, all the way to those scores. So we want to explore the lunch and the math scores association. So first, lunch is categorical variable because each entry is represented as a label, right? Standard or free reduced. So this is good. This is good for our analysis. However, take a look at the math score. The math score in this data set are recorded as a numeric variable. So if we want to apply the chi-square test, we want to make sure that the other variable, math score, should be categorical variable. So that is why we need to make the math score category into a categorical variable. So how do we do that? We want to make a new column, and the column's entry will represent the levels or grade for a math score. For example, this student had math score 72, and we will map into a certain category. For example, that is a C or B, etc. So let's do this. So we want to define a bin. Okay, the bins are the cutoff value to group the math score into different categories. So I'm going to define 0, 50, let's say 70, 90, and 100. Okay, so that means we're going to map the original math score into four different categories, and using this cutoff value. And then we're gonna define the labels. And these labels are for reflecting the math score. And the labels is a list of values. Let's say if the student math score is between 0 to 50, then that is a D. If that student math score is between 50 to 70, let's say that is a C. 70 to 90, that is B. And finally, A. Okay, and those are the labels, or let's say those are the grade for the score, grade level for the score. And then we're going to map the original math score to those labels. So we're going to say df. We're going to define a new variable called binned mass score, okay, and that equal to pd dot cut. We're going to use a cut function. df, we're going to put the original mass score, and then we're going to use bins equal to the bins, because these bins is what we defined in here, and labels equal to labels, and finally we're going to use right equal to false. So let's take a look at our newly defined df. Okay, now by doing this cell, we're gonna create a new column called binned mass score. And you can see that original mass score is a numeric variable and it mapped to the grading level A, B, or C. So in this way, we want to make sure that the newly defined mass score is a categorical variable so that we can do the chi-square test. Okay, so now we have two categorical variables. We can do the chi-square test. So first, we're going to define the contingency table. Contingency table, and that equal to, I'm going to use pandas pd cross table function, and we're going to put df launch, because we're going to use this variable, and the other one df this binned mass score, because we're going to use these two to do the chi-square test. So let's take a look at what is our contingency table. Okay, so the contingency table is here. So we have a table that summarizes the frequency of the mass score and each corresponding launch category. So these reflect the entire data sample in a small table. Okay, now we have this contingency table. We can easily use the chi-square contingency to get the chi-square test result. So let's take a look at how we apply this. So we're going to use a function called chi-square test, which just to copy this chi-square contingency, and we're going to, inside of this function, we're going to put the contingency table. So these reflect the whole results for the chi-square test. However, we're gonna make sure that all of these statistic values should pop out. So that will further put the new variable, and the first one is chi-squared score, and then I'm gonna put p-value, and then DOF. This is the degree of freedom, and the last one is the expected frequency for the statistic test. So basically, this function will give us 4 input. However, we may need first 3 of them, because we want to take a look at whether there is association between these 2 variables, and these 2 variables are launch and binned mass score. So then we're gonna print the first 3 value: chi-square score, p-value, and freedom of degree. Especially we want to take a look at the p-value, because p-value usually should be a value that's between 0 to 1. If that p-value is really small, then that means there is a strong association between these 2 variables. And if you take this Python code, you will see that the result is like this, right? So that is difficult to tell whether the p-value is. You can use round function and then put p-value in here. Let's say I want to use 3 decimals, and that is 0.0. So if the p-value is really small like this, that means there's a strong association between the launch and band mass score, these two categorical variables, and that association is statistically significant. Okay, I hope this tutorial video helps, and I will see you next one.